Hello everyone, welcome back to the prediction show. Game week 13 is here. The games are coming taken fast as usual in December, game week after game week, and this is a point where you need to pick up points too. If you pick up 2 wins out of 2, in 3 days, it could be from 15th to 8th or something, for example, but probably not for us. And I have a guest with me, Zuhum, fellow Arsenal fan for the prediction show this week. How are you?
I'm good, bro. How are you?
Probably not good. Definitely not enjoying football at the moment. It's terrible. You're not picking up points. 2 wins out of 2 from Burnley and Southampton. We probably would have been 8th or something. But yeah. Anyway, let's. What have you made of the last game week? Any surprises apart from us? Burnley.
Yeah, I was actually surprised at the amount of teams that dropped points. For example, Liverpool, Fulham, Chelsea. Chelsea, I didn't expect them to lose against Everton, but they did, and they were quite unlucky with the performance. I think maybe the main reason they lost for me would be the absence of Hakim Ziyech. Like I always say, he's the catalyst in that team, and he's exactly what I hate to bring this back to Arsenal, but he's exactly what we would have needed to replace Özil with eventually. Imagine a scenario where we would have brought in Hakim Ziyech, and then as Özil gets older, we probably wouldn't have needed to, be held under the gun, at ransom, the way we did with Mesut Özil, paying him 350,000. But yeah, like I said, his impact is fantastic. You've seen how many chances he creates. You've seen how many players he takes on, the delivery in terms of set pieces as well. I mean, he's already gotten a bunch of assists. Of course, we expected that,
Yeah.
but he also helps dictate how Chelsea play. And it's no surprise, for example, the upturn in form for Reece James
Mm-hmm.
comes right after, or maybe it's even
Yeah.
accelerated by the playing style and quality of Hakim Ziyech. So yeah, man. Without them, without those kind of players, they struggled a little bit. But also, I think maybe Timo Werner and Giroud can't always be relied on to be a consistent goal scoring
Yeah.
strikers, for example. So yeah, they lost that game. Carlo Ancelotti did well, and I also think he benefited of not having James Rodriguez because it meant he had an
Mm-hmm.
extra pair of legs defensively speaking. So good game. Yeah, Everton, I thought they were full value for their win.
Yeah. Clever way to look at it because I thought I would struggle without James and Digne in terms of creativity. Calvert-Lewin is
Mm,
never a technical striker. It's just like a box striker, like 6 year striker, so he needs those crosses. So fitting me, you're talking about
yeah.
Chelsea because that is the first game on Tuesday. Wolves against Chelsea. What is your prediction for that game?
Ah, man, I mean, Wolves are in a bad way considering how important Raul Jimenez is for their attack. And you see, not only is he much better than many strikers in the league, and let's just say that to be safe, because I don't want to get into that.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah,
as much as he's amazing in terms of his finishing and he's quite clinical, he's also so much better at bringing other players into play, like Adama Traore, like Pedence, like Pedro Neto. So
yeah.
Chelsea is so strong, and they're going to look to react after that loss to Everton. That's the good thing for them is that that game comes in so quick right after the loss on the weekend. So uh, I still think Chelsea is going to have too much for them, and considering you know Wolves managed to lose to a 10-man Aston Villa right at the death,
Mm.
I don't think they'd
So,
be too high on confidence. So yeah,
mm, score
I
prediction.
I think I go for a 2-0 actually. I think I'm going to go for a very solid 2-0 by Chelsea.
I can see that, but I'm actually going to go for a draw. I'm going to go for Wolves 1, Chelsea 1. But you're right, Wolves are struggling. In fact, creating chances, obviously, apart from Arsenal's game, they struggled a lot against Aston Villa and Chelsea defensively. They actually
Yeah.
looked quite good. So 1-1 draw there. The next one is Manchester City and West Brom. I mean, what's your number? What's your number for that game? Are we talking six or seven?
Yeah, exactly. What is your number? You're right. You're absolutely right, bro. City, despite the draw over the weekend, which I thought was very tactical display from both of them, I thought Man City and Man United didn't necessarily want it as much. You could tell by how they placed defensive midfielders in both positions in central midfield. Um, so yeah, in as much as they struggled a little bit against United, I still think they're going to have way too much for West Brom. 5-0, and when you consider that West Brom have no attacking out like threat, remember a player that is genuinely creative and talented that I love at Arsenal is Mateus Pereira, the Brazilian kid. And he had the second most assists in England's 5 leagues. So that's right after Kevin De Bruyne. So yeah, they're gonna miss him so badly because they need to attack. And I guess it's only a matter of how many. I'm gonna go 5 actually. I'm gonna go 5. Yeah.
Yes, he's creative, but lack of discipline. So I'm not sure we need more of those players at Arsenal. And you said 5-0. I'm going to go for probably, I think maybe 4. 4. I think they'll score this time. So 4.
Just
Speaking
in
about
defense, just in defense
defensive,
of
yeah,
just in defense of Mateus Pereira. I mean, some of the best players in the world, they when they get red cards, it's fine because they balance it out with goals and assists. Like Heung-min Son did something very similar to Mateus Pereira in the Chelsea game against Antonio Rudiger, and
yeah,
even Suarez biting someone and getting himself uh, an 8 game ban and still being the top scorer. It's fine if you have these colorful bad attributes, but if you're mixing it up with proper goal scoring output and you're contributing directly to points on the table, that's fine. Granit Xhaka, Pepe, they don't do that yet. So, and Granit Xhaka never has. So yeah.
yeah. That's the next game. Actually, that's the first game on Wednesday. So
Mhm.
do we have a chance in this game? Or it's going to be another loss because I'm scared. Those guys are pretty good.
Well, I think the only reason we might have a chance is because Granit Xhaka doesn't play. And it's like finally, Arteta, finally, this is what you needed for him not to play a
Yeah,
couple of games, maybe. He's gonna be gone. He's gonna be
yeah,
gone for 3 games, and I just hope whoever slots in shows Arteta you really shouldn't be putting faith in these players, these kind of players that they're older, they're more experienced, but they're playing like inexperienced players and they're not adding any output. They don't have any kind of goal scoring output. They don't impact points on the table. So yeah, Arteta better learn not to choose some of these older players. I hope he changes it up. I hope Willian doesn't play. I hope Bellerin doesn't play. I mean, maybe even Lacazette doesn't deserve to play. How he misses these chances that we don't create enough chances. So when we do create them and
yeah,
they're actually good chances, why the hell are you not finishing it? So I hope all of these guys don't get benched, even if it means Edin Ketia starts and then maybe Balogun on the bench.
yeah.
Salah, I'm good. I'm happy with that. But yeah, man, I'm not confident, and I'm always here telling you that I always predict a win. So I'm hoping for a 2-1. But honestly, my prediction probably 3-1. We might get 1 goal because they'll press us and they'll attack us, but
Bellerin is actually also suspended. That might be a good thing for us. He's 5 yellow cards now, so 1 game out. So you both Bellerin and Xhaka will be out for this one. I don't know if it's a good thing to miss players in this busy period with injuries and stuff. I'm not sure it's good to miss players. And let me ask you before going to the next game, what do you prefer after a loss? Do you prefer playing the very next day to get
yeah,
confidence
I
immediately, or
prefer
do
playing those.
you you don't wish for like a 2 week break, international break to get things into
Nah,
gear?
nah. I mean, the last time, remember we had to go through that international break and we
Yeah,
just lost to
yeah,
Aston Villa, and I
yeah,
I hate it so much. But the thing is, this would apply more sensibly, and it seems more logical that you'd want a game right after. That helps if you have an experienced manager, someone who knows what to say and quickly change things up and get a result. And right now, Arteta's proving that he can't quite do it just yet, and he's struggling with it. So we don't know what we're going to get with Mikel Arteta. That's the problem. Are we going to get more progressive tactical changes? Are we going to get more ambitious or braver personnel decisions? We don't know that yet. And for me, it's like, bro, I really hope he learns to not reward more mediocrity, because that's what these players are doing. They go out and play normal games, they play average games, they play poor games, and the next game they're starting, and you're wondering how the hell is he starting. So I really don't expect it. I think these changes, these forced changes that he might have to make, are a blessing in disguise. So I just remain hopeful, but my prediction is 3-1 Southampton.
I don't know why, but I just had a dream yesterday. Arsenal 4, Southampton 1. This is the turnaround game. This is the turnaround game. Arsenal 4, Southampton 1. it's not a joke. It's not hopeful. I don't know. I was going to go for 2-2, but Arsenal for Southampton.
Let's
I would
hope
love
it.
it to be correct. There's no reason for it. There's no reason for that
There's
prediction.
no reason.
Just would
Yeah.
love it to be correct. Yeah, no reason. So the next game is going to be Leicester and Everton. Leicester are a team I would love to
Leicester,
beat.
man.
Like the way they play, Madison, Vardy.
Yeah. And you're already seeing the links, after the Arteta out brigade hashtags going around. Everybody seems to be shouting it. I mean, I did it myself on the podcast, and every Arsenal fan that I speak to is just even doubting me. Arteta out, and it's like almost like they're waiting for me just to say it, and then they kind of push on with it. But I still hold on hope that he can come good for us because man, let's not get into our Arteta, man. Everton, we're being linked with Leicester City's Brendan Rodgers, and he's playing beautiful football just like he did at Liverpool before he got sacked. That team, despite them having ballers, they played amazing football, and he looks to encourage. He looks like he's encouraging freedom and self-expression compared to Mikel Arteta, who seems to want players to play under certain instructions, and I think he's hindering them a bit and hindering himself a bit. So I hope he learns that very quickly, man. But anyway, Leicester, man, Everton, tough game. Wow. I think it's going to come down to tactics more than the quality of the players because they all have quality players who can have moments of individual brilliance that either win you a penalty, a free kick that results in a goal, set pieces. They can both score from set pieces. So I think Everton, right after the win they had, um, they're still gonna struggle because of the attacking potency of Jamie Vardy. I think the difference is not only going to be tactical, but also between the strikers. So Richarlison and DCL, despite their good form, they 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 are not clinical. They have moments of individual brilliance, but they're not clinical in the way that Jamie Vardy is. And Jamie Vardy doesn't need to be asked
Yeah,
twice. You give him one chance, he bangs it. He either hits the post or bangs it in.
yeah,
So I think Jamie Vardy is going to have a party because
yeah.
of the quality or the lack of quality in Everton's defense. Because I think unlike the Chelsea game, they're going to try and impose themselves despite it being Leicester. So yeah, I think it's going to be like a 2-1 Leicester.
I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw in that. I think they cancel each other out. And the biggest game of the midweek is going to be Liverpool against Tottenham. Liverpool are still favorites, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So Tottenham
Liverpool are favorites. I
have any chance?
mean,
They've surprised
the
all of
thing
us.
is, huh?
Tottenham have surprised all of us this season. Could they have a chance?
They do. They have. But I'd be very, very surprised if Liverpool get caught out the way the other clubs, the other top six clubs have been caught out. I mean, you remember every Arsenal fan, every football pundit say that Arsenal were naive against
Yeah,
Tottenham, from manager to
yeah,
personnel. You'll remember the same being said about, Man United, about
yeah,
Man City, for example, right? I think Liverpool have the legs to compete physically. They shouldn't have drawn against Fulham. They probably should have lost, but I think they're going to have big players turn up in these big games, man. And Tottenham might try and counter them, but they only counter with like two players, three players, and it's not effective. I don't think it's going to be
yeah.
effective enough. You know, they took advantage of poor midfields, in my opinion, for the City game, for the Arsenal game, and even for the United game. Just like I said, naivety. So Liverpool don't have that about them. Liverpool just don't have that about them, and they're at home.
Yeah,
They're gonna have fans. I know it's not the
yeah.
same as having the 60,000 packed Anfield, but that's gonna be a big boost for them. And I think that's the boost is gonna help them in creating chances more than defensive solidity. So yeah, I see a narrow win for Liverpool.
Score, score prediction.
1-0, 1-0.
1-0 to Liverpool. Wow, I think Tottenham
Yeah,
will
yeah,
score. I think
1-0.
someone will score again. So Liverpool 2, Tottenham 1. The next game is Leeds against Newcastle. Newcastle probably very poor against West Brom, but got the win. Leeds, I don't know, they're all over the place. Yes, they're 14th. Any reason for that, conceding too many goals?
Mm. I think they will concede, but I still think
Yeah,
they'll have enough to win the game. Reason I say this, I know Newcastle are in very good form. They are. They have individual players that are on good form. I mean, we saw the goals that Hugo Almiron scored. Callum Wilson, of course, is doing bits. And Joe Linton, in as much as he's not a clinical striker, he's more of a providing kind of striker. He's more of a target man. So he's like a poor man's Olivier Giroud without the touch and without the goals. But he does have good link up play. So I hope that's not too offensive. I mean, I say that with all due respect. He's a professional footballer. I'm not, so I can't be one of those guys. But Leeds, man, Leeds are in good shape. I know they're struggling from time to time. There's been inconsistency with them. I still think the quality up front is going to unravel Newcastle. I'm going to go with a 2-0 win. No, 3-1. 3-1 win.
I was going to go for the exact same, and
Mm.
I think I'm going to add the goals. I'm going to go for Leeds 4, Newcastle 2. I think it's going to be a long day for Newcastle, a long night for them. The next game on Wednesday is Fulham Brighton. Fulham, all of a sudden, they're looking pretty good.
Yeah, they really look like they've gotten their shape right. I really like the look of this midfielder, Anguissa,
Yeah,
the central midfielder for Fulham. I think he's a holding midfielder or a central midfielder. He really carries the ball so well
yeah,
with pace.
yeah,
Very Yaya Toure-esque. Very
yeah,
Yaya Toure-esque. Yeah. Very impressed with him, and Lukman really looks like he's added an edge to them. Uh, yeah, man, I really like what they're doing, and despite that, I know they were solid. They were quite solid, and they deserve to win against Liverpool. But
yeah,
they're going to be a bit more adventurous against Brighton, and that's going to be their undoing. Brighton play possession football, like I said. They play very good possession football,
yeah,
and they create chances. They were
yeah.
fully and deserved for the loss against Leicester. I know Danny Welbeck missed a couple of chances, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think Brighton's still gonna have more than enough for Fulham. Yeah,
Score.
2-1.
For me, for Brighton, surprisingly, they've struggled a lot recently. I thought if they were serious, they'd already been on top of us. They should have been on top of us by now. After that performance they put
Mm.
up against United, like early in the season, I thought they were going to be a very good, but all of a sudden, the likes of Mope have dropped to the bench. Trossard has dropped to the bench. Fulham are looking good. Remember, if Lookman scored that penalty a couple of weeks ago, they would have been even higher. So confidence for them.
Yeah,
And I know you talked about Anguissa, but there's something he did yesterday. He let Wijnaldum run from one on like his own area to his own box without fouling
yeah,
him. I was like, what are you doing? You can't let him run like that, like from side to
yeah,
side
yeah.
without fouling. So it's a good. I think Fulham will pick up a point here. 1-1 draw. The next one is West Ham against Crystal Palace. Both very surprising this season, doing very well. Score predictor for this one.
Yeah, really appreciate that draw with Tottenham. I know it doesn't affect us anywhere near as directly as we would like in terms of
Yeah,
league position, but we don't like those guys, so we're happy when they drop points. I was actually quite surprised that they did drop points, considering,
yeah,
I mean, they were only 1-0 down because of a weird Harry Kane goal. And it goes back to a point I was trying to make on HBR Fan Zone. I was talking about how I think Tottenham
yeah,
are overperforming in terms of their goal scoring, and they score from ridiculous positions, ridiculous phases of
yeah,
play. So they were unlucky to go 1-0 down against Tottenham as well. But I didn't expect them to manage a draw. So good for them. Crystal Palace. It's going to be a good game, technically speaking, because West Ham have ballers, and so do Crystal Palace. So
mm,
I think
yeah,
you'd look at the Fulham and Brighton game and think, "Nah, I'm not watching that." But when you look at the West Ham
yeah,
Crystal Palace game, I think that's a fun game to watch. So West Ham. We're unlucky not to get something out of the United game, but I think
yeah,
Crystal Palace are going to get away
yeah,
with it. Yeah, I think they're going to get away with this particular game. I don't think they're going to play as well as West Ham. I think West Ham are going to dominate, but
yeah,
Crystal Palace probably have more than enough in terms of finishing because I mean they have man like Wilf, so Wilf Zaha. So yeah, man. I
yeah.
think
Prediction.
3-1. 3-1. That's a safe one.
Mm,
Tough one to call.
I think kind of the same, but wait, I think that's too high. I think it's going to be a draw. I actually think it's going to be a draw, maybe a 1-1 draw. I think both teams will pick out something, yeah, or pick up something. The next one is Aston Villa against Burnley. Just a quick prediction. Of course, both teams getting points on the aim is like everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, Burnley, they're really, really poor, and I can't believe we lost. But yeah, anyway, Aston Villa. Aston Villa is gonna have too much, man. I mean, they just won a game with a man down, right? They're gonna be really, really high morale from the dressing room, and they really do look together. Jack Grealish, off the back of his interesting photos, doesn't let any of that affect him. So, yeah, man, I think Aston Villa is gonna have too much for Burnley. I think Aston Villa is gonna win 2-0.
I think it's going to be more than that. I think they're going to score 3-0. Yeah, like they're going to put Arsenal to shame again. Like they're going to score goals past Burnley. You're gonna wonder why we couldn't do the same. The last one on Thursday, Sheffield against United.
Sheffield versus Man United. Yeah, that's what do I expect from which team?
For me, I don't know what to expect from any of the teams. Like Sheffield can turn up for once. United can go and smash them. They can go struggle again.
You're right. Sheffield United have been tough opposition for the big boys, but not necessarily the smaller teams. So their form kind of lies to the traditional top six, I guess. Man United away from home. Just the game being put on Thursday night so that they start getting used to it. Wow, this is a tough one to call. Actually, I think I'm gonna go with the United win. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with the United win. Sheffield are still poor, and United unlock defenses much better than many of the top six sides. So I'm gonna go with the United win. 2-0.
2-0. I don't know what to expect. Maybe 1-0 to United. Maybe 1-0 to United. And the final question, as usual, every week: which game will have the most goals this weekend? They're scrolling down the bottom. Which game will have the most goals?
Man City, West Brom, definitely.
Which team will definitely keep a clean sheet?
Which team will definitely keep a clean sheet? I think. Which team definitely keeps a clean sheet? Who are Chelsea playing again? I forgot.
Chelsea are playing against Wolves.
Wolves. They're playing Wolves. No. I'm gonna stick by my first prediction. I think for sure Liverpool. Liverpool keep a clean sheet against Tottenham.
Wow, that's interesting. And there are 3 players that will definitely score this weekend.
Which players will definitely score? Okay.
Yeah.
Mo Salah, Lazima. Mo Salah bangs. He will score. Yeah. It might even be a penalty. It might even be a penalty. Yeah.
Who else? Which other 2?
Which other 2? Oh, you asked for 3. My bad. Kevin De Bruyne and Raheem Sterling. Yeah.
Wow, so that's a big
score. De Bruyne is going to score.
It's Pep roulette. I wouldn't be surprised if Bernardo Silva and Torres starting that game instead of those 2. But yeah, so thank you Zoom for coming on. Those are your predictions for game week 13. So confusing. The games are coming very quick, very thick and fast. So enjoy your games on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Follow Zuhum on Twitter and on Instagram. The handle is scrolling down the bottom at the moment. So thank you for watching. Keep staying safe, and I'll catch up with you guys later.